action in PDP in Ondo, secretary of the party.
All right, thank you. Now, I will keep saying this, and let me repeat this again. Anytime you have election coming into play, there is no way we are not going to have something of this nature. And secondly, when you have an election being concluded, take for instance, the just concluded presidential election, there's no way some people won't try to decamp to another party, either for their own selfish end or to maintain their normal status. That's why you see people decamping up and down. And let me tell you this for free again, that the issue of reconciliation is inevitable. I can tell you boldly that I just came out of a meeting about 2 hours ago with the state chairman and some of the 𝗬𝘀ci trying to do some reconciliation. Because this is, it is a normal process that you keep having after election, before election, and somehow into the election. You will agree with me. So, you made mention of the fact that 𝗃𝗃 is in the legal team of what's it called? Of course, we all have our various roles. He's trying to do his best in the best way he can. And about to saying the opposition is being passive, I would disagree with you in total. I mean, just for instance, this is part of the God's work that we are doing, and we are doing with me that PDP, being the largest party in Africa, is not a party to rubbish or to bamboozle. And now, I mean, how do I mean? We are being strategic in whatever we do. We can't be doing like in Yoruba we call it we have to be strategic in whatever we do. Just for instance, I can tell you for free that in the last 2-3 months, we have been trying to woo party members, even some people that have been so passive. Because you have to have that numerical strength, which I know the fact that we have, even if you are to go into an election today in Ondo State. Don't be surprised. We are not going to lead with just a small margin. We are going to lead with a very big margin. So that one is sacrosanct. But we just don't want to relent. We are doing our reconciliation. Yoruba will say, we can't just drop the guns. It's a step-by-step of a thing. It's just like you declaring yourself a winner of an election without doing campaign. So, when we get to that bridge, we are going to jump it.
Okay. Before I let you go, because I promise that we're not going to take so much of your time because I know you're a very busy person. Now, let's talk about you yourself. You're certainly one young person that have been within the political space of this political scene of the state, and you command quite a lot of support, especially from the young population. And the state is going into an election next year, and I want to put you on the spot. Barrister OLUJIMI, Ondo State presented 𝗃𝗃 in the previous election that was supposed to take over from his friend, that's Olusegun, but he lost the election to Akétì. He was also represented as the governorship candidate of the state in the last election. He lost to the second-term bid of Akétì. I want to put you on the spot. Do you have any agenda whatsoever, Barrister OLUJIMI, ahead of the next election? Your fans call you the digital secretary because of your, alertness and your survey around the young population. And I'm seeing some handwritings on the wall. A couple of my friends, big shout out to 𝗃𝗃 who is very close to you. I've been nursing this conversation. So, do you have an exclusive for me on the show before I let you go, Barrister OLUJIMI, in respect to 2024 in Ondo State?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You will agree with me that politics is a gradual process, and there is no way. I don't really encourage people to even overstretch their luck. If I'm doing pretty very well at the secretariat for now, I just believe the sky is the limit. But I can tell you for free that I don't have any ambition, even though it's likely you are not expecting me to say such thing for free. But don't indulge it.
I just want an exclusive from you.
I don't have any ambition as it is, but what we want is to get the government of Ondo State. We want to rule this state come 2024. Because when you look at what is happening in Ondo State, it's just a big slap on the people of Ondo State. How can we have no governor, and they are claiming we have two governors because in Oyo State, and up till now, we don't even have a kind of acting governor. We don't even have a deputy governor. So I want to believe that people are waiting for us. It's just for us to get our house in order, which we've been trying to do. Because, like I keep saying, we are the modern side of democracy. So I can't just wait, to see us in 2024, and I can quickly remind you of this so that you can see the real politics and how a good governance should be done.
Thank you very much, Barrister Oluseye Olujimi, the Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State, for joining us live in the Situation Room on mainland 98.3 FM Lagos. I would love to excuse you so that you can continue with your meeting. Once again, we really appreciate that. We'll keep in touch. In case we need to reach out to you for one or two things as the old drama would unfold. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, OPEYEMI. I really appreciate it.
And have a very good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, good to have you back. And that was a very quick and very engaging session with Barrister Oluseye Olujimi, the Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State. He joined us from Akure, the capital of the state, and we looked at quite a few issues in respect to how the state has been governed in the last few months. For over 4 months now, the governor of the state, that's Barrister Rotimi Akeredolu, SCN, popularly known as Aketi, had not been in the state. Of course, within his constitutional responsibility, he handed over to his deputy, but he returned to the state and communicated to the House of Assembly that he's back. On the 7th of September, he addressed the press conference on the 8th of September. And today is the 12th of October. Over a month is yet to be seen around in Akure. In fact, there are reports that, just like my guest, Barrister Oluseye Olujimi, also confirmed that is not even in the country at the moment. But then, the deputy governor is no longer in acting capacity. That means the state at the moment does not have a chief executive officer. Okay, all of these are obviously build up to the next election in the states. As INEC announced last month, there's going to be an election in Edo State in October and in Ondo State in November 2024. So we keep you, updated in respect to all of that. Mr. Muyiwa Adeyemi is still here, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper. We're going to look at the interview I just had, and we'll talk about it, and we'll look into the press conference of Mr. Peter Obi also yesterday. So, Mr. Muyiwa Adeyemi, this program is being streamed live, like I said. You can watch us and drop your comment. I'm seeing comment on Facebook already, and you can also go to our YouTube page and drop your comments there. Both of them, Mainland 93 on Facebook and on YouTube. Mr. Muyiwa Adeyemi, you heard the interview, and even though my guest was trying to, not to delve into the murky politics, but he's a politician, and then he gave us the little exclusive he could drop. What do you make of all of the drama that is going on in Ondo State at the moment?
I think if I have to start talking about what's going on in Ondo State, vis-a-vis the absence of Akeredolu, I think from the state and what's actually happened. And vis-a-vis also a state of health. Let me quickly remind our readers, our listeners of a scenario that happened in Nigeria before. What we are experiencing is not new. I think some Nigerians will still remember when a former President Gerald Dua was sick. And we had some people, about 4 of them, we call them 4 wise men in the cabinet. They were the one telling Nigerians, this president said this, the president said that. And these people were so mean to the extent that even when the president, at least was already a vegetable, they planned to bring him down to Nigeria. Even they've been able to acquire a private ambulance belonging to the
Saudi Arabia
monarch. And they've tried to, I think, improve, the Asura clinic, at least for the life support system, that will hold the president only for 12 or 24 hours before returning him back to where he was having a treatment. The essence was that the man was already running outside of the constitution, what the constitution allowed him to stay outside the country. So bring him into Nigeria, let NTA or wherever one of these stations just show the man that where this man has arrived, has already in Aso Rock. So a lot of you will believe in Aso Rock, so with that one we'll be able to buy another more 3 or 4 months, as the case may be. And while they were doing that, they were showing others, they were giving instructions, they were awarding contracts, they were running the state. I think until one of their ladies in the assembly, who happened to be a minister then of information, came out to say, what is enough of this? You at the Federal Executive Council meeting, that you are telling us the president said that president we have not seen the past almost 6 months. You know, I think that's one, and this is a blue lead of whatever is happening within the cabinet. I think that's why they were able to put a stop into the nonsense they were doing, and Jonathan became the acting president. But in Ondo State, there is already a cabal close to Akeredolu that didn't want Ayeditiwa, I think, to give instruction in that state for a day. For the reasons best known to them, the man was alleged of being over ambitious, and I ask any politician one that's not ambitious. I don't know who joined politics for
without ambition.
No, without ambition. I don't know. Show me one politician. But we know it has always been alleged, even when the man was temporarily sick, not this sick, that the cabinet there, the governance there, is being run by his wife,
the first lady,
and his son,
Jide,
and a few guys around him. So they still want to control, I think it is treasury, the resources, and the power in that state. Let them prove Nigerians wrong by asking Adele to address another press conference tonight. Let him just show himself. No, my brother, anybody can fall sick. We are all human. Nobody can play God. Even as we are here today, who knows who will drop sick this evening or who will drop that this evening? Nobody can say. But let Nigerians know the truth. All these things were being done by some people to protect their personal interest. Election next year, 2024, is still far in politics. When we say that 24 hours is still far, but these guys knew what they were doing, and what is happening now, whether we like it or not, is post-Akeredolu politics.
Post?
I'm telling you the truth. It's unfortunate. It is, because they have the data, they have the statistics, they have the record, they have the medical report. They knew the nature of the sickness and what the old man was passing through. So they had the record, but they knew that it was difficult for him to sit down on that seat and act unless there is a divine intervention. If there is no divine intervention, they knew it was very difficult for Akeredolu to sit down and act again as he has been acting in the shortest possible period.
Mr. Adyemi, let me hold your thoughts. I understand the constitutional, provision of the governor. He can take medical leave, maybe within 90 days, and hand over power to his deputy. He can come back and all of that. I understand also the place of the fact that we cannot play God. Anybody can fall sick and all of that. But there's a thin line between this and the commitment and the promise that you made to the people to govern them diplomatically and judiciously. And once this is absent, should we politicize this issue? Should the governor resign and hand over to his deputy if he cannot act as a governor anymore?
I think if the politics is coming up here, it's simply because the governor, his cronies, his family did not allow the governor to do what is right. I'm sure wherever Akeredolu is now, what will be uppermost in his mind is his health. Right? You need to have a weak clue to know that every other thing becomes secondary. You need to have a serious malaria with bitter mouth right? That even to swallow your sputum becomes issue. I'm talking about ordinary malaria. To know that any other thing to you
is less important.
Is less important than your health. What must be paramount to Akeredolu now is a divine intervention, and to enjoy, I think, to have his free to have his time to sleep. Right, even if it's on medication, let him have a rest of mind for these drugs to work. Not bringing politics, state issues to him every second. But I'm saying this. What's happening now is not that it's not Akeredolu's interest, but interest of some people thinking that, well, with our man, once he's still alive, I think we must still continue to control the structure of the state. That's what's going on. And it's quite unfortunate. That's the level of politics we are in Nigeria. What stops somebody that knows that, well, I'm no more fit to continue in this office just to drop the state of resignation? Many Nigerians will applaud him, and his family will continue to be honored by whoever is coming. That this man did the right thing to save the state from embarrassment. But we don't see any African leaders doing that. We don't see other ministers doing that. Even some people in office, when they see them incapacitated due to health or whatever, they will continue there without minding the consequence of that on the office they are holding. So it's unfortunate what we have in Nigeria, but well, I think Ondo people have to continue to bear it, and the PDP man should know that PDP is a stakeholder. And if you are playing the real politics as it were, they're supposed to make the state a bit more, I think, more engaging.
Now let's come to the State House of Assembly. You know, there's been allegations of misappropriation against Lucky Aiyedatiwa. In fact, the week the governor returned to Nigeria, all of the media aides to the deputy governor were reassigned. They dismantled his media setup, and they reassigned all of them, and they said that they didn't manage the situation where they were showing this and that. That one stood. Then some days later, we saw a memo that was allegedly released by the clerk of the State House of Assembly, you know, initiating impeachment notice against the deputy governor. A few days later, there was another caucus in the House that came out to deny the knowledge of that particular memo that had the clerk's hand on it. So all of these have moved on. How would you rate the role of the State House of Assembly in all of this? If there's no acting governor at the moment, the governor, upon his return, communicated to the House. That means the acting capacity of the deputy governor was over. Now there's no deputy governor. There's no acting governor, rather. There's a deputy governor. And we talked about the issue of if you have a spare tire and you have a flat tire, you can choose not to use your spare tire. Remember that narrative some weeks back. It's playing back again. How would you rate how the State House of Assembly is handling this situation, Mr. Adeyemi?
You know, I think we, for the members of the State Assembly, almost all of them, including the Speaker, they have their interest. And the Speaker knows that we'll let anything happen. Once you've rendered at least incapacitated, right, is the next person that might be favored, if only for 1 day or 2 days, right? But it's unfortunate for the state. And when the principal, the driver of a vehicle, fails to do what he ought to do, right, you see conductors and passengers exchanging blows, right? So that's what you are seeing. The members of the State Assembly actually is controlling majority, right? But despite controlling the majority in the Assembly, some of them are already having their interest. But majority of them are still with Akeredolu. But that does not still stop them from also fighting for their personal, because they know 2024 is involved. Whoever emerge as next acting or whatever governor will decide who gets what in the next election, right? But what I was saying is that we are having a scenario that we are moving towards crisis in that state. I won't be surprised that any moment from now, when they are sitting in that assembly, you see them throwing chairs. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you say anything towards happening in National Assembly, because they are not. The people are taking instruction from third party, not from the governor directly. And once that one is happening, you begin to see cracks. You begin to see a kind of a policy somersault. You begin to see high-wired politicking, and its governors will continue to suffer in that state. So that's the scenario. Nothing more.
That's quite unfortunate. You're live on Mila 98.3 FM, and this is the Situation Room. This program comes up every Mondays to Fridays, and it's always from 4 to 5:30 p.m. except on Wednesday, and that runs from 4 to 5 p.m. And on this space, we'll always talk about politics. We'll talk about governance, talk about leadership. We look at those policies of the government that does not particularly seems to be improving the quality of lives of the people. And that's the essence of democracy itself. To have a proper life, to have all of your rights, your human rights are protected by the people that swore to do same when they came to you to vote them in office. That's exactly what we talk about every day of the week from Monday to Friday. Today is my regular. I have the head of political desk, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, Mr. Miwa Adeyemi, joins me every Thursday. And we earlier on the show had the secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State, Barrister OLUJIMI, joining us from Accra, the capital of the state. And we looked at the situation of the states, especially with the absence of the governor for more than 120 days in office. Is raising a lot of concerns. A lot of people are asking some fundamental questions, and Mr. Miwa just brought it really clear that if all of this is not addressed, arrested anytime soon, there could be a lot of issues, maybe crises, coming in from the state. But you can always trust us here. We'll keep you abreast of everything that is happening in that state. And hey, it's always going to be very interesting. Like I said, there is a general saying that if you have a spare tire, and when you have a bad tire, you're supposed to use your spare tire. But if you choose not to use a spare tire, you would certainly have to live with the consequences. Let's put the issue of Ondo State aside. Mr. Miwa, yesterday, the former governor of Anambra State, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the February 25th presidential election, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, addressed a world press conference yesterday. And the summary of what he said was that he called Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to reintroduce himself to Nigerians. He said he should tell Nigerians his name, the primary school he attended, the secondary school he attended, the university he attended, the certificate he got in all of those schools, so that there can be a better respect for Nigerians. He's obviously making reference to the issue of the certificate from the Chicago State University. Mr. Miwa, last week Thursday, we made mention of this conversation. But then, a lot of things that happened between last week Thursday and now, and then very typical of Nigerian politics. You always say that 24 hours is a long time in politics. Now, a week is like a longer time. What did you make of that press conference yesterday, Mr. Adeyemi?
Well, I think it's a continuation of the soap we have been enjoying for some time.
Soap?
Yes, very good drama. Good drama. It's a political drama. I think I would not be surprised in the next 3 or 4 months after Supreme Court judgment. I think we see, a film, in that direction. I trust our Nollywood guys. But by and large, that press conference was a reaction to Atiku's call. Atiku, during his press conference last week, specifically called on the Peter Obi and Kwankwaso to join him in this battle. I think for them at least to be able to maybe whether to win election for Atiku this time around or for Obi, or just to get Tinubu out of the way. I don't know. What's the purpose, because the issue is to advance Atiku's case in the Supreme Court, right? So not Obi's case. But having said that, the whole lot of this is politics, and we end in a political way. And I said last week here that we have 2 major issues we are contending with, and I want Nigerians to write it down And I've said it here also, that at times when politicians when they are taking some actions, people might not immediately know the reason for that action. Right. What I'm trying to say here is that we have two issues here, both moral and legal. What Obi did yesterday, in continuation of what Atiku started, and the two of them were doing before, was to give a kind of a moral crisis for Tinubu and his government. And they are achieving that. Whether you like it or not, they are winning that game when they are looking at the moral aspect of this government. Whatever you are saying, forget what BBC said. Forget what the registrar of the university said. Right. But you are bringing a serious issue out that there are some things Tinubu has not told Nigerians about himself. And they are winning on that ground. But would this one amount to winning in court? I'm not a lawyer. And certainly, I'm not one of the judges at the Supreme Court. But from our experience so far in this business, right? They are winning. This matter may not go beyond public court. What I mean by public court, what we are getting now, for two reasons. The court will tell you they cannot give you what did they ask for. They are not for that Christmas. The first point they raised was that Tinubu did not attend Chicago State University.
That was one of the prayers of the appeal court.
At the appeal court. Now to Supreme Court now. That even the only Tinubu that attended that university was a female. Right. Those were the two major issues there. Now, if the university had come to now say on oath, the registrar of the university, that what President Tinubu attended. Secondly, that F you saw on that was just a clerical error. And in fact, what they held esteem was the, a transcript that was so clear that they attended the school. You are talking of certificate, and they made it clear that if you go and print the certificate now, will bear the signature of the current registrar, and then they print all these things. You can print through your vendor. They said that is their system. But the more people try to look at the system there, within the pricing of what is happening in Nigeria, or you are looking the British academic certificate, you are using that lens to view American, certificate, then you are the one getting it wrong. Because you didn't know beyond that. Right? So to say what's happening in the British system is the same thing happening in America. No. Before in Nigeria, we don't always want to reckon with anything in America and Nigeria before. Nigerians are independent, always prefer a British system of government. Even there was a time that before independence, if you go and study in America, sadly they will not rate you as higher as somebody in Britain. That's Nigeria for you. Right? That's why up to now, in some institutions, they've not still allow you to write English like American English, because that's not our system. That's not our pattern of education. It was University of Ife, Awolowo and Co. Because of the romance, then trying to do away with the British, they were trying to align with American system of government and the system of education. Do you get my point? University of Ife, now about Awolowo University, I've said it within their own system. This is what happened. And whether we like it or not again, when BBC came out with their research, everything yesterday, and anybody can accuse BBC of anything, but you cannot accuse BBC of maybe that they have collected money from Tinubu, or it was a spint work, because they put their credibility online. That this is what our investigation discovered. So with that one, if anybody is expecting anything different from what we have said from Supreme, let's wait and see. But I have said, I'm not a lawyer. And I'm not one of the judges that will sit on this matter. But we know that this voyage, I think is leading Nigeria to the. But if anything, we are learning that we have to be very careful. Ooh, some things we've taken for granted. Even at this stage, we have to be careful. Somebody was telling me yesterday that said, do you know what I said? What? If we have to look at my is a lady, is a very respected lady. He said, do you know I went to look at my primary school certificate. Her name is Rachel. So when he was dead, he said you know it's called that Rachel written a certificate while he was in primary school was RACHAEL in primary school. But in secondary school, what is called that RACHAEL. It's different from EAL. No, you can write Rachel as EAL. You can also write as AEL. Do you understand? The same thing to Michael. You get my point now. Do you know that in the face of law, if you're not careful,
you have presented a forged certificate.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is that maybe the drama here and the lesson here is that let everybody tidy up your certificate, because you don't know where you'll be tomorrow, and we don't know what anything will happen. But it's a politics, and I know that I think it will handle the political manner, because if these things are the controversy so high that you are getting at least a kind of a soundbite from the registrar of the university on notes saying some things, and the BBC also came out to say it. Do you understand? But let's see what the Supreme Court judge say. I'm not saying that what Atiku will say, but I've said initially that they've won a battle which I think they wanted to win. Do you understand?
That's the moral battle.
But we must change this man. Do you understand? I think so in next election, he will not be able to come out to say what to contest. Nigeria will ask questions that Egmo, at least your certificate, we are still not happy. So you can sustain that for the next 4 years. You can sustain that one for him, not at least because when you hang a moral issue on his neck. So with that one, you make him a lame duck president, right? And the next 4 years, he will not have any moral grant, no matter what he might have achieved, if anything at all, to say want to contest again. So it's part of politics.
Well, that's a different twist to the conversation. I remember last week, Thursday, Mr. Amiwa, you took us on two different lines. You talked about the legal battle, and then you talked about the moral battle. You also made it clear now that in terms of, putting up the moral perspective to it, that, hey, irrespective of the fact that you've won an election, these and these and these are the issues that are still here. But the court does not thrive on morality. The court strictly has the old legal expectations. There's a framework that guides, some of these things.
No, that's why I told you that I think those things may not work in court.
Okay. Well, by the turn of 5 o'clock, I will take the headline news for just 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to pick the phone calls and read your messages. We're getting messages already on our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. Let me read some of the messages we have on Facebook before we take the headline news. I've been speaking with Mr. Omiwa Adeyemi. He's the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper. Well, the phone lines are buzzing already on Facebook. Olumiwa is texting, and he says that, well done to Mainland FM. The essence of democracy here is not to serve anybody but the people. The day Nigerian politics ceases to be business activity is the day someone that is incapacitated to rule will resign honorably for the system to continue to run. The foundation of our politics is very faulty, and the reason political position or office becomes a do or die affair. Thank you, Olumiwa, for the conversation. Well, Barrister OLUJIMI, my earlier guest, also dropped his message on Facebook. Well, 0913-600-0410, but we need to take a very quick break. Then, okay, I think I can still squeeze in my first call for the day before we take the headline news. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Obolaji Bank, Anthony.
Okay.
I'm Isaac by name.
Isaac, you're welcome. Well, just 1 minute.
Okay, I disagree with your guest concerning the certificate. You know, sometimes let's not talk out of head. Let's talk with facts. When you look at the facts, he said, the president said he attended a secondary school. That secondary school was not even established there. So that's a lie. So let's not try to whitewash things or paint things. Let's say the truth the way it is. If this thing was tried in the UK, he'll be in jail by now. That's just the truth. So let's not try to whitewash things. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Isaac. I have a feeling that by the time we are back from the airline news, the calls would certainly flip the conversation a little bit. Okay, I won't be able to pick calls for now. Yes, I won't be able to pick calls for now. We need to take the headline news by 5 o'clock. They're ready with us. And then when we come back, I will just pick your calls and your calls alone. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is the Situation Room.
When your whole world comes crashing down, is look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains. Wake it up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did
you? This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Tinubu appoints Ola Olukoyede as EFCC chairman. Supreme Court hears Tinubu's plea for dismissal of Atiku's appeal. Senator 𝗃ᴏ defects to APC from YPP. Troops neutralize 50 terrorists and apprehend 114 in 1 week. A man warns lecturers over sexual harassment, vows to deal with offenders. On the foreign scene, DR Congo accuses rebels and Rwanda of hindering poll. And in sports, Boniface ranked joint second best striker in Europe. And that's the headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. Details at 5:30.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
When your whole world comes crashing down, is look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains. Wake it up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Okay, you're welcome back, and thank you so much for still being with us in the Situation Room live from Mainland 98.3 FM. This program runs from 4 to 5:30. You just heard the headline news, so you need to keep your dial locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. By 5:30, the full bulletin will come through. Now it's time for you to join the conversation. We've had a very interesting, first 1 hour on the show. I had the Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State, Barrister Olujimi, join us from Accra, the state capital. And then we looked at the situation in Ondo State. The governor has been away for over 120 days. At some point, the Deputy Governor, 𝗀̀ci Aiyedatiwa, was in acting capacity. And then the governor came back on the 7th of September, addressed the press on the 8th of September, and since then, is yet to resume his constitutional role as the executive governor of the states. And there are reports that he's in Ibadan. That was actually where he addressed the press conference on the 8th of September. And there are also reports that he's even out of the country. Well, we had to ask questions, especially what the opposition is doing, why it looks like there's an agenda to keep quiet and not allow the people of the state to know what exactly is wrong with their president. Well, we also, on the other side, have Mr. Miwa Adeyemi, the head of political desk of Guardian newspaper, joined us. He talked about the Ondo State issue. And then we also addressed the press conference that the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Gᴏᴜ Rᴏᴛ gave yesterday. On Facebook, Dada is saying, Atiku and Obi are the hero of the year. Obi has stated the fact. He's saying that he who must come with equity must come with clean hands. The moral of the story is that if you don't have anything to hide, present your credentials and stop blocking and running up and down like a sinner, which no man pursued. If you don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, and as for our judiciary, that use formula of technicality and instead of merit and fact is a shame. In other civilized countries, they look at merit and fact and not technicality. That is our judiciary is backward and nowhere to be found in getting real justice. How can there be peace without justice? When are you bringing Dele Farotimi and David Uday into your program to discuss this issue? Dada, I would certainly work on that. Let's go to the phone line, 0913-600-0410. Hello, Foma.
Oh, thank you very much, OPEYEMI.
You're welcome.
Yes, one of the things that came to mind when you granted interview to the PDP secretary, you did not allow your guest also could have asked one or two questions. So that is one of the first thoughts that came to me. You could have allowed him just a takeaway home from the interview that you gave on him. Now, based on what we are discussing, I really appreciate what Obi and Atiku have done so far. Throw more light that if you want to become a real leader, whereas your credential, up till now, if like Obi grant the interview yesterday, if the president really know that he has the credential, it's taking too long. Just come outside, this is my credential, go to this school, go to university, verify everything. If there's any doubt, then you also come back here and say that we have went wrong, there's a doubt. But since the president is here to address the nation, that means that there's a skeleton in his combo. But one thing I'm always afraid of Nigeria, can the Supreme Court give us a befitting judgment? The issue of the Senate president, this is a man that did not contest for election, and he won the senatorial ticket, and also the former Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Both two of them, they are running for presidential ambition, never be part of the Senate election. But they won by the Supreme Court because a lot of money also flow under the ground. But let me now end with the issue of the TTC. If you can help me, there was a former governor, is in a Kano State, that Christian governor that had a plane crash accident. Is it Kano or Kaduna?
That should be Suntai. That should be Taraba State.
Okay, Taraba.
If you safe.
He flew his own private jet.
Exactly. There's an issue also that this is a man that yet to get himself on tweet. He's still shaking eye at what is happening in the state. So it happened like that.
Thank you.
I just pray that Ondo will not be a victim of it. Like your guest, the other time you invited him, I was asking that this is a governor for Italy. He cannot build a quality hospital to be treated on him, and it's wasting our money over there. God will have mercy.
Thank you very much, Ufoma. Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. More messages are still coming in, and but I want to pick more calls. Hello, good evening.
Hello, OPEYEMI.
Your name and where you calling from?
This is Moses from Isolo.
Moses from Isolo. You're welcome.
I started listening to you Monday this week.
Oh, okay.
And I assume that you will be the neutral presenter, because how would you find neutral presenters nowadays? You've all become partisan. If you choose to bring Sam Oroti that will be so reckless with the statement, and David Ondeni that has perpetual bitterness, please bring someone that will neutralize. Let there be balance.
Okay, that was listen. That was on somebody's request.
If you are going to listen to that person, so listen to me as well. I talk on radio, I talk on TV. I only found your station a bit interesting by virtue of what, not the other ladies in the morning. What alone I listen to. But you now, this is about the only time I hear the radio station.
Thank you.
And maybe one lad is talking on sports because that boy is sound. Now let me put it this way. I will not talk about Tinubu's case because it's overflowed. Whatever.
Hello? I'm with you.
Hello? Yeah.
I'm with you.
I want to talk about the Ondo State issue. Mr. 𝗃ᴏ, you are not God. If you had died before now, Ondo State will continue. So please play it softly. Please, again, play it softly. Is that really the one in charge? This is a case of another Ture.
Hello? Oh dear. I would appreciate if you can call us back 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Hello, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Peter Joseph. I am calling from Gᴏ.
Peter Joseph, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, let me comment about the certificate saga of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I don't think 10,550 type of article Abubakar and Obi can convince me that somebody like Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the current president of Nigeria, does not have certificate. I cannot be convinced by any 100,000 of I cannot be convinced by this. That is number one. Then number two, let us assume that if President Tinubu doesn't have certificate, I knew Lagos under Tinubu without certificate.
0913-600-0410. Some text messages. It says, my name is Fumi from Ikorodu. The Ondo State governor should know that it is only God that gives health. He should go and take care of himself and stop allowing the people of the state to suffer. I am from Igbokoda, and the state had never had the opportunity of being this bad. Oh, okay. Fumi from Ikorodu, thank you very much. More messages still coming in. My name is Femi from Bagada. Mr. President should continue with what he's doing and not allow himself to be distracted. Even if the Supreme Court says he had not presented the right certificate, it would be a re-election and not handed over to Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar. Okay. Thank you very much, Festus from Bagada. Let me go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening.
Hello, yeah, good evening, OPEYEMI.
Your name and where are you calling from?
You have Bjorn on the line.
Bjorn from Fagba. You're welcome.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, well done. You see, let me just let our people understand one thing. If the judiciary favor the obedient and articulate, yeah, the judiciary is okay, judiciary is good, they will praise the judiciary. But whenever judiciary or anything is against them, yes, they will start bantering the thing. You see, we should understand one thing. You started that he did not even attend Chicago State University. That was their petition against this man. That he had a fraud, he had a drug business, this and that. And this man was vindicated of all these allegations. Yet you are still saying that he's having this. But no problem. As the last one said, that all this Rọ̀bọ̀rẹ́bẹ́ style of politics, I think they should put it aside. They should accept defeat and not to put Nigeria in a disarray. We need peace in this country. That's my own advice for them.
Thank you.
And for Ondo State, I think the reason why the opposition are not making because I have many friends who are from Ondo. Majority of people love Akeredolu, so they are only taking their time to see what is going to be. Otherwise, they know what to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Joe from Ikeja is also texting, and he said your guest spoke only on the CSU, that's the Chicago State University certificate. What about the secondary school? Please, let's say the way it is. Mr. Miwademi, I think I would allow you to quickly respond to this. The first call we also received made reference to the secondary school certificate. Was that mentioned in any way during the prayer at the appeal courts?
Nobody is challenging that one. The issue of primary or secondary were not, I think, to my understanding, nobody's challenging that one. So if nobody's challenging that one, I don't think the facts or many things about that is known, apart from what people are posting on Next, and which some of us will not comment on. But what we know that had been issue that have been not overflogged, I can't say overflogged, sorry, but where we are still looking at, or the Supreme Court came out with his verdict, is about Chicago State University. And you know that this started off as far as 1999 or thereabouts.
I think it started out with the PDP in 2000.
Yes, 2000. I think, to the extent that federal government did have to send
delegates
to the school led by AIG Akinyode. Do you understand? I think so to that school for investigation. So I think it has been a recurring decimal, but nobody has really picked holes, I think, in the secondary school matter.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
You're welcome.
Okay, my name is Don Peter.
Don Peters, good to have you join us today.
Thank you. I'm calling you from Lɪධ̀ቬju.
You're welcome.
Okay, the whole thing don't tire me. Make I don't lie you. Honestly. Okay, having been to other countries of the world, okay, the way Nigerians they handle their country, it tire me. It seems as if Nigerians do not want to enjoy their country. I'm seeing Nigerians as I would just liken them to the slaves who love their chains. We are interrogating things, leaders, which we should do. And the people are beginning to make excuses for them. And tomorrow we will complain that things are going high. We come tomorrow as at we speak today, 1 naira to $1 is 1,040 naira. And instead of us to be interrogating our leaders, why things are going this way, we are the dignity defending them, telling there are some who are articulate, some are obedient, some are partisan. I don't even know what they are saying. Why other countries of the world are making progress? They are enjoying their country. And we on our own, who believe in this country, we want to interrogate those who are leading us. All of a sudden, so many people will just turn and say, no, you don't need to interrogate them. We want peace. Who do not want peace? Who do not want to enjoy the country? Okay? As we speak now, a tuber of yam goes for 2,000 something. A loaf of bread now go for 1,000 or 2,000 naira. And what do we get? It's because many of our leaders are not grounded in anything, not in education, not in economy, not in anything. They are only playing politics. And we are interrogating it, and before you know it, they will begin to tag you whatever I don't even know. And believe you me, Nigerians are slaves who love their chains. Some of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Dayo Dada on Facebook, where I read your first message. I'm seeing the second one right now. I would also come for it. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Ope.
Your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Victor. I'm calling all the way from Shomolu.
Okay, Victor from Shomolu, you're welcome.
I want to ask one question. I've been asking this question in your show and a forward show, that are we really existing in the community of the world, of nations that want to succeed? When this, everything in Nigeria is backward, is negative, is upside down. People are saying certificate does not matter, that Nigeria should move forward. Sean Tribunal does not matter. In fact, I'm tired. They say president does not have certificate. Let him come out and tell us. Oyibo doesn't. In fact, if you still ordinary 1 naira, Oyibo doesn't joke with it. We have a president that everything about him is not clean, and people are saying obedient to Atiku. What's my business with that? We want a president with a clean record, so that by the time look at what's happening in Ondo State, hiding a governor that have not spoken with us for days, for months. Is it a good nation? If I have money, if I suppose I have money now, I'll just leave this country and go to another country.
You are not going anywhere. We're in this together. 0913-600-0410. I are still live on Mainland 98.3 FM. More calls. Hello, good evening. Prince Wise. I'm with you.
You see, this afternoon, this Chicago can never go until the Supreme Court gives verdict. And now, where some people are saying that internationally, Nigeria is being mentioned this way, that way. And the work with international newspaper that time came out to say the certificate of Mr. Friend is genuine, no forgery matter. As on it, as if telling that organization, hey, they are doing this, they are doing that. It means this is really politics. When you talk of moral, the doctor of Nigeria police, they don't have moral. All of them that defending themselves now. But for we, the color, the masses, we have intermediary between the three bodies, Mr. Atiku, Mr. Obi, Mr. President. How is that the intermediary, the referee? It's Supreme Court. What I'm talking about now. Now, what I'm happy for today is that the BBC, not for only Africa, not only for Nigeria, it's for the world. He say never see anything forgery. Why we not grumbling, accusing that media house? If we know how any motive, it means we are playing politics. So internationally now, if I want to condemn somebody who's taking us outside Nigeria to rubbish Nigeria image, it is Atiku.
Thank you.
I never
thank you, Prince Wise. You have used 2 minutes. In fact, you have used. No, we will continue the conversation tomorrow, Prince Wise.
Finally, goodbye to you.
Thank you. Tomorrow is Friday, so it's open mic day. Although I'm getting information from the leadership of the All Progressive Congress in Ondo State, it seems they're asking for the rights for a reply. Based on the interview that we had earlier on the show with the secretary of the PDP in the state. It's getting interesting, by the way. So we just may be having a member of the APC in Ondo State join us on the show tomorrow. But hey, don't worry. You would always have your moments to let out your conversation. Hello, good evening. Okay, more calls before we call it today on the show. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
You're welcome, Mr. Ayo.
Yeah, thank you very much. You already know the name. You see, first, what is our colonial masters coming in now? Because they know some of these are big men. Goes over there and spend the dollar, spend our money for their own interest. British has been the architect of Nigerian problem, right from the amalgamation, so on and so forth. What is BBC coming to? I then pointing out that Chicago University that was under oath and pointed every of this. Why can't they stay aside? What are they? Who is we? Mr. Ope, I was in the media. Thank God the fellow there. I don't know if he doesn't know me at the time I left there in Guidance. That was in 1986 when I left Guidance. I think 87. Then, thank God the Guidance political editor is there. Let British stay off. BBC, let them stay off. They are not better off than Nigerian Info. They are not better than Mainland. They are not better than who is Mr. Please, you people should find out the earthworm or maggot going on the ground, settling them. We know the extent Nigerian politicians could in order to a kind of capture international image. They should stay off. They are the problem we have in this country.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. L. Thank you for joining us on the show today. You will be the last caller for the day. Mr. Miwadi, it's been a very interesting conversation on the show. I mean, it's just flip you down. And we've done almost 90 minutes today, which is very interesting, by the way. What are we taking home from the conversation today? We've looked at Ondo State. We've also looked at the press conference of Labour Party presidential candidate yesterday. I mean, in a minute or two, what are we going home with today?
Well, what we are thinking we are going home today, I think, is that Akeredolu, I think I should do what is honorable, and his family should support him, at least to write his name in gold. While I think nobody is I think there's no God, and nobody can play God among all of us. But let's not stretch our luck too far when it comes to this matter. The gentleman needs to take good care of himself, and the state should continue to be run in a better way, not to have many people falling sick. I think, which is normal. And the PDP, I think, as opposition, has been too quiet on this matter about politics. But when the opposition play their role very well in politics, I think it makes democracy better. So PDP in those states, I think, have been, unusually too quiet about this matter. Yes, APC want to have the matter on the way they wanted it, but you, I think, they're supposed to form a shadow cabinet, supposed to let the world know that what state is suffering presently, I think, by what is going on at their government house. Well, on the issue of the certificate saga, I said it. I think some Nigerians, I don't know, maybe because of what some people read on Twitter too much nowadays, I think some people are not getting it right. The issue is not that who didn't have certificate or didn't submit certificate. He submitted a certificate that he attended CSU, Chicago State University. He said he attended, and some people said he did not attend. So he submitted certificate of that university to INEC. That's what brought the issue of the controversy. But some people were saying certificate he submitted was faked, that he didn't attend the school. That was a bone of contention. So people should not take the issue out of context. Nobody is saying that he did not attend the school. You understand? They agree. Tinubu said he attended, and he submitted the certificate. So it's not. So when I had some callers saying that he did not submit, he did not have certificate, he did not submit. No, he submitted one, but they are contesting the originality
of that
certificate, and that's why some people. That's why we are all of us are still interrogating. And as I said, it's the Supreme Court that will give a final judgment. I think a decision on this matter. And once Supreme Court judgment, I think, has spoken, I think all of us should respect. I think as human beings, civilized human beings, once Supreme Court has given their verdict, please let's just allow the matter to go. Let's continue to run. Whoever, if they ask for the wrong, good. If they say the man should stay, good. If they say Atiku should have it, good. If they say Obi should have it, Okonkwaso, good. But I think if we want to be in peace, I want the country to run. But once Supreme Court has given judgment, I think I hope some people we should not start continuing abusing and calling the judge's name. It's not decent for anybody to do that. But let's just continue, I think, with our business. So there's a passing phase, I think, which the country will survive.
Thank you very much. It's a passing phase, and Mr. Miwadi thinks the country would survive. Thank you very much for spending time with us on the show today. And also a big shout out to my earlier guest, Barrister OLUJIMI, the Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State. It's been a very interesting and engaging conversation. Apologies for the messages I couldn't read and the calls that we couldn't pick. Tomorrow is Friday. God's praying our lives. I would come back here to have an open mic so that I can hear some of your opinion, and then I will take your messages and your calls. My name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE. Don't forget that by the turn of 5:30, the full bulletin would come through, and by 6 o'clock, Wale Adigun will be back with the sport guys for Sport Cruise. The Super Eagles of Nigeria would know their fate in the next African Cup of Nations today in the draws. More of this by 6 p.m. And don't forget, when you see something, you say something. Have a very good evening. My name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE. I will join you tomorrow.